Greetings, fellow nerds. Welcome back to another MTGA Nerdfo video where we are doing some Forgotten Realms Standard 2022 ranked. We're looking at a deck that, was probably a B tier. Probably rose up just a little bit, maybe to that B plus tier. I think it's still a solid deck all around. It got some nice heavy hitters, got some nice new cards, with addition to Forgotten Realms. So we're gonna see how this kicks off. But as per usual, I'm gonna ask, if you want to see more stuff like this, be sure to hit subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, hit that notification bell so you have an easier time finding me in the future. We're on our way to 300 subscribers. Really close there, actually. It's kind of crazy. You can also follow me on Twitch. Description down below. Playing some RPG games, some MTG, of course. So if you want to see me live, be sure to follow me on Twitch as well. And let's get started. Let me show you what Boros equipment slash warriors slash god slash dragon. There's a lot of things happening here. Mostly Boros warriors with some nice support cards. So let me show you what we're working with. So we got 3 Usher of the Fallens. Great 1 drop for the warrior deck. Good against control. 4 core blade masters because we are playing some equipments. So pretty good anthem effect here. And it's good by itself. The Kargan Intimidator, good card, aggressive, gives you options as well, which is pretty awesome. Relics Axe, which attaches to a warrior, so it'll be a +2/+1 for the most part. So nice way to just maybe get in for a few points of damage. Wall of Skyclaves, which has always been a solid equipment card. 4 Splinter Marshals, which can potentially buff our board by exiling a warrior. 3 carries, which allows us to draw cards, and then we can potentially get indestructible as well, which is always pretty nice. 4 Kargan War Leaders to give a nice anthem effect to help our God of Battles, of course, for kind of a nice way to possibly recur creatures here. And we got Icing Death as well, which is like basically another version of Halvar, except Icing Death can come as a creature and then turn into equipment. So I would say it's a little bit of a better version, but I do like Halvar nonetheless. So we're keeping Halvar to a 2 of, and then 2 Icing Deaths to potentially just cause some trouble for our opponent. 1 Legion Angel, and the rest are in the sideboard. 3 Nahiris, which is pretty solid in this deck, I would say. I think this is probably the only deck Nahiri really functions in, but still works pretty well. And we got 2 Star Skull Smashings, 1 Cave of the Frost Dragon, 8 Plains, 2 Den of the Bugbears, 6 Mountains, and then 4 Needleverse Patchwork. So this deck is pretty aggressive, but it has a nice fallback plan to Nahiri, to make some tokens, get some equipments onto those tokens. So Nahiri's like a nice fallback plan to kind of still present a constant threat on the board, which is always nice. So anyways, let's get into it, shall we? Oh, whoa. Okay. So we're going first here. This hand is kind of expensive, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep it. Hopefully we can, once we draw just one more land, we can get pretty aggressive here, which is nice. So we'll see what we can do here. Okay, so we haven't drawn our 3rd land yet, and we might not. That's very much a possibility. But we do have a fallback plan nonetheless, and ooh, okay. Rural Legends. I haven't seen this deck in quite some time. At least in Standard 2022. So I'm very curious to see what our opponent's going to do here. Because a lot of the good cards were in Throne for Bard class. So I'm very curious to see what our opponent's going to do here. Let's see what shenanigans Bard class has for us today, shall we? Looks like he's going to remove. Alright, not a problem. Not a problem. Alright, we do draw a land. That's pretty nice. So I think we're going to play a Kargan Intimidator. And we'll pass the turn. So a little late. We are now kind of behind, but we have a good kind of way to just pressure our opponent, which is pretty nice. Looks like he's going to go for another removal spell. That's totally okay with me personally, because we have better creatures to work with. So removal spells on our 1 toughness creatures, he's not even playing that for a land. Wow. A little surprised there, to be quite honest, but let's see. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and play the board Blade Master. And now we have the option to play Nahiri as well. I think he would have been better playing this as a land and just dealing with the 3-1 personally, but alright, he's still going at it. Which is fine with me. Now we get a Nahiri onto the board. And we get a free attach, which is pretty nice. Now, we don't get the token bounced back to our hand. But I think our opponent may have been a little too aggressive with the removal, personally speaking. But, I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. He does get a treasure token here. Alright. Very curious again to see how... Okay, gets to level 2. Alright. So it'll be interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and do some equipping. And because we have the mana, we're just gonna make this guy humongo. We could get rid of the innkeeper. But I don't think we need to. We'll put the axe on here. Why not? This is pretty cool. I kind of like what we're doing here. I don't think I needed to get rid of the innkeeper. We'll see if I'm wrong about that, but I feel that we have a good threat on the board and our opponent scoop. So I'm not really sure what our opponent was going for here. I think Bard class again. I think Bard class will get better over time, but I think for now Ranger class is the class to kind of look out for. That's probably the most strongest one in my opinion currently. Just given that mono green's already looking good, and I think it gets better with rotation, and I think it only gets better as we see more typical powerhouses coming in for mono green. So, I don't think we'll probably will never see another questing beast. I think that is extremely powerful, but we still have things like Warren Collects. I mean, I wouldn't play the Trask personally, but maybe there's oh gosh, I'm gonna mulligan this. I would love to keep, but I just don't feel safe personally. We'll go ahead and keep this just because I don't want to mull to 5. I don't think we need that many Maul of the Skyclaves, so we'll just go ahead and send that to the bottom. Yeah, so anyway, mono green I think definitely gets better over time. Gruul has the potential to get better. There just needs to be kind of the right synergy, I would say, for Bard class, like losing Grumgully from Throne, Questing Beast, I mean even the red, the Gruul Legend guy, the Satyr Legend, was like a loss, and no one really played that prior to Gruul Legends, and it's already kind of rotating it. So I'm actually going to put it on here because so the reason I'm splitting my threats here is because if he has a removal spell, he either takes 3 damage and still deals with something huge, or I get to keep my Usher of Fallen and get his continued effect. So really good for us there. I actually really do like putting on the token because it's kind of tough to evaluate what you get rid of. Alright, solid play from our opponent here. Looks like he wants to use the spell to remove something. Okay, I think that's a little hasty personally, but Bloodchief's Thirst. Okay, that's a way to use Bloodchief's Thirst. I'm gonna go ahead and no need to remove quite yet. I want to wait a little bit, just because I have another Marshal, and I want to see if I can maximize here. Looks like we're playing against Grixis Control, maybe Grixis Dragon, so this could be a CGB deck that we're playing against. We did miss our 4th land drop, but I don't know how much Icing Death would have helped us out personally, but we're about to find out. Looks like we're about to lose the Resplendent Marshal, so maybe it would have been in my interest to just use this effect anyway, but I decided to go with the greed play nonetheless. I think it's okay personally. Looks like he wants to actually remove our first striker. Again, that's totally fine with me. Again, splitting your threats with your tokens actually pretty powerful in that instance. So So what is Grixis control going to do today? Okay. Looks like he wants to use 2 removal spells. I'm totally okay with that, personally. I'm totally okay with that. I think that is totally fine. I'm honestly a little shocked. Oh, there we go. That's what we like to see. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna just buff our 3/3 into a 4/4 here. Bada bam, bada boom. And we can play Icing Death as well if we want. Opponent does have access to a lot of mana, to be fair, so this is where it gets a little worrisome. But honestly, getting rid of 2 Prismari commands I think is good. Yeah. Again, I think when they built the Mythic Dragons from Strixhaven, like, Prismari was, like, the obvious, like the best one, just because of his effect and how quickly he comes onto the battlefield compared to the others. Obviously, the Lorehold one is using reanimation, but, I mean, there's a reason why you don't see the other ones. They're just, their effects aren't as good, they don't come out quick enough, you know, a lot of things. A lot of things, so. Alrighty. I'll take the damage here. Their opponent has access to a lot of mana, so we do have to kind of be careful of that, but I think we can still be aggressive. And nonetheless, we can play the Icing Death. I think if he counters that, that's fine. Okay, our opponent decides to play another Prismari, a big one. So we have options here. So I'm going to see if he has a counterspell. Looks like he does. Looks like he has access to a counterspell. I'm going to see if I can kind of get away with this. Maybe he won't realize what's happening. I don't think he does. So I'm going to make our dragon into a coward here. Or their dragon, I should say. And that way he can't block our warriors. And this is actually huge because next turn, he's going to have to figure out a way. He can remove our Karga Intimidator, but then we still have lethal. Boom. All right. Yep. Karga Intimidator, still a solid card. I used to play it in mono red personally just because it just had a lot of nice options. But obviously it goes very good in a Warriors deck. As we saw here, we just beat a 7/8 Prismari. So, yeah. Pretty solid. I'm a little surprised. To be quite honest, this deck is doing a lot better than I originally was playtesting with. So it does have some weaknesses, for sure. Don't be mistaken. I think it does lose to stompier decks. Mono green, again, it's kind of the deck to look out for. I'm already building the paper version, while the cost is kind of... In my opinion, I believe the cost is relatively cheap right now to build a mono green, just because I do think it does spike up in value in the future. I could be totally wrong. I don't entirely know for sure, but that's just kind of my speculation. Maybe I'll do a video kind of like on talking about that and all that stuff, but okay, I forgot Innkeeper was an interesting way to potentially ramp, but he only comes in with 1 treasure token, so I don't know if that's entirely true. Okay, yeah. Lots of stuff were happening. I'm telling you, mono green is the deck to look out for. Definitely got to be careful here. Do I trade with the Werewolf Pack Leader? Probably, just because the card draw in that is kind of insane, if you ask me. Looks like he's potentially ramping up to Vorinclex. I have a slight suspicion there, but oh man. The fact that he's willing to attack, kind of crazy. I'm willing to see what the opponent has, though. Okay. I'm okay with that. I think that was a much better trade for me, personally, but... Old Growth Troll. Yep. Alright, so we'll play our Icing Death here. And Icing Death is nice just because we get to trade with the Old Growth Troll and get, an equipment back. Now I do realize that they get to ramp with Old Growth Troll, but I still think it's very much worth it to trade. I don't really want to be taking damage here. And I do get an equipment. And it looks like they've already played a good chunk of their hand, so... Okay, I can definitely handle a bear pretty well. We are getting a little flooded here, so hopefully we will kind of stop that. Okay. Okay. So, however, God of Battle will be pretty good once we have the mana to play him. So, being a turn behind definitely hurts a little bit. Just because, like, the opponent, we have to react to the opponent. I may end up taking 5 here, just to, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take 6 here. I do want to keep this guy around, because, I do want to play Halvar. Oh, that... Ah, World Pack leaders here. Alright, okay, so our opponents played their entire hand. That's nice to know. We can kind of stop a lot of the aggression that's coming our way. With all the Skyclaves here. You know what? I'm actually gonna play Sword of the Realms here. We're gonna hold back. This is gonna be very painful. Oh, I think our opponent has it, right? Yep. Again, I did say mono green. Although I did not expect Spirit to be the one to cause us big problems, but there we go. Good game. Like I said, everybody, I think mono green is the deck to look out for. I think mono green is the deck to look out for. This just proves it right here, personally. Opponent just played beater after beater after beater, and even though we were making trades, even though we were trying to conserve our life as much as we could at a reasonable pace, we just got beaten to death, and that's what mono green does. That's why I love to play it personally. But yeah, I'll be making a standard 2022 version myself. I've already created one. I'm still making a few adjustments just because the version I make will be on paper form is the one I'm probably building on paper as well. So I'm collecting a lot of cards right now, trying to figure out what I like, what I don't like. You know, a lot of my friends are like, hey, what do you think about the Froghemoth? And I'm like, it's good, but it's not like... I'm going to mulligan this because it's a one-lander. We'll go ahead and keep this for sure. I said, you know, I like it. My only issue with it is that, like, it's just... It can be easily dealt with, I think, given, like, the removal, given counter spells, and I don't know if I want that to happen for 5 mana so frequently. So that's just my personal opinion. I'm just trying to figure things out as much as I can. Obviously that card is very good in limited, but other than that, meh. Alright, let's see. Opponent's probably got a removal spell here, so I'll play the Kargan War Leader just to kind of get the threat underway. He'll probably move the 4-2. Yep, poison the cup. And you can tell when the opponent has removal, so because there's like always a slight pause in kind of their decision making. So at that point, it's worth it to kind of just pressure the opponent with a card that you don't mind losing. So I mean, I do really like the Intimidator, but the War Leader still has a good amount of value. Looks like our opponent. Okay, probably saw it coming, so I want to be able to kind of bait it out here. Okay. Oh, that was a solid draw. I'm actually going to do something a little different here because I have the mana to do so. I'm going to go ahead and attack here. Probably take the 5, no problem. And then we play Usher of the Fallen. The reason I'm playing Usher, the reason I made that play as opposed to second War Leader is because probably has more removal anyway. And I can still pressure him if he removes one of these cards. Probably is going to be the Kargan War Leader, right? So, and if I draw a land, could play Nahiri. Lots of options. Still available to us, regardless of what happens, whether we don't or draw a land, which I really like about kind of this warrior deck is that the curve is a little bit lower, so I don't have to worry too much about being mana screwed, or flooded in some cases, because there's still options available to you. Decides to go with the remove, which is totally fine. All right, so he definitely has a counter spell, so I'm gonna force him to use it, which is actually fine. That we didn't draw land anyway. We have a second Kargan War Leader. Sorry about the fire truck. Oh, it doesn't. He doesn't play Saw It Coming. That's very interesting. Ah, another Poison the Cup instead. I guess. Also a solid play because he gets to scry 2 off of it. Um, which is totally fine though because Usher of the Fallen is not like the biggest threat in our deck. Decides to keep. It's probably so maybe one of this is also an Auron's Epiphany. I'm not really sure. Just by the way he's playing, that's my suspicion. But okay, so we're kind of running low on options here just because we aren't our man we kind of want 4 mana to function as best as we can. That's kind of the sweet spot number as it is in most decks, but we're just gonna try and be as aggressive as possible. I did see it coming. Don't worry guys, I saw that coming a mile away. So it looks like there's another Poison the Cup here. He is running out of cards to use. Oh, it's actually Behold the Multiverse. Okay, so now he'll kind of replenish his hands just a little bit. 2 to the bottom. I feel like that's a good sign for us. He didn't like what he saw. Maybe it was more lands, but he might have drawn into something good now, obviously. But oh my goodness, this guy is a foretell monster. It's an interesting version of control. Okay, so we did draw our land here. Now it makes our decision a little bit harder. But I believe applying pressure is still the best way to do this, and I think Resplendent Marshal will do that. So I'll probably run into another Saw It Coming, and we'll have to kind of just accept it. Oh, interesting. Didn't. I'm gonna get rid of a Kargan Worm Leader. Okay, so another Poison the Cup. This is our 3rd Poison the Cup. I believe it is. Oh, it's actually a flunk. Okay, so I have flunked class. That's a bit of a shame. I usually don't flunk classes. Alright. So in that case, maybe it was worth it to try and play Nahiri. Not really sure. I want to play Nahiri when I feel like it's... when I'm pretty confident that there's no counterspell or sorts. So... I'm going to attack here. Okay. Man. I just feel it in my bones that he's got a counterspell. Because he's got... But if that's the case... I'll just play a Halvar for now. Okay. Allowed it to happen. Another Soul Shatter. Oh, it was a Soul Shatter, not a counterspell. I think he probably still has a counterspell though, honestly. I just really feel it in my bones. But I don't have a choice now. I just gotta run into it. There's the counterspell. I did predict that. So yeah. But it's not all that bad because we do have Den of the Bugbear, so it's kind of nice. We're not totally out of the trouble yet. Yeah, and we get to make a 1/1 in the process, I guess. Play this guy. And we also have Cave of the Frost Dragon. I am playing only a 1 of, because I think Den of the Bugbear is a little bit better for this deck, but kind of when the opponent starts running out of cards, because they already played 2 of the Behold the Multiverses, so chances are we probably won't see another one anytime soon. We'll be able to kind of be a little bit more aggressive, which is nice. Okay, Feed the Swarm is a solid card, solid play, because they only lose 1 life, but they still have a little bit to worry about, don't they? So I'm just gonna go with the kind of safe play here. I don't need to play the Nahiri quite yet. And what's really nice about this play is that they can't counter it. It's just the activated ability of a land. So over time, they're gonna have to consider removing a land, which they might not particularly want to do. So I can actually equip one of our goblins with an axe. So now one of the goblins is punching a little bit harder. All right, Den of the Bugbear. I mean, I actually told my friend too about this recently. He was like, you know, what should I be getting for build Modding Red Standard? And I said Den of the Bugbear. Like, just trust me on that one. And he did, and he was like, yeah, I felt like that was a solid trade. Well, I can actually go to equip here. And now he has to block. I think he could have sacked it now and killed the... Is it only non-land or something? I don't know, but Den of the Bugbear really took us there. Goblins! Alright, so I'll stop it there. I like to end on a W as always, but yeah, I think you saw the power of this deck. I think it has a lot of potential to grow, especially with the new lands out. You know, mono red goblins are also going to be a deck I'm going to try and build and focus on as well. So be on the lookout for that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, mono green is a deck to look out for. And that's the only deck I lost to today, really. So it'll be interesting to see with the new format. But if you want my personal opinion, that's the deck to kind of build or potentially hold out on trading, because I think those cards go up. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you're still here, that means you enjoyed my video. That means, and if you hit subscribe, why not? Because you get to see more fun stuff like this. Get to see me kind of prepare for the meta a little bit. And also, again, follow me on Twitch, description down below, all that good stuff. Just want to say thank you for sticking around, especially to you loyal followers. I know some of you have found me on Twitch or followed me on Twitch and all that good stuff. So, and some of you stuck around from the very beginning. So thank you all so much for that. Appreciate the love. Keeps me going. So anyways, right now up top, YouTube is showing my most recent upload, and right below that is a video that YouTube thinks you specifically like. So go ahead, check out those videos, explore the channel, explore me on Twitch. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you for the next Nerd Fail.